Special assessments are specific and statutory liens. They may be voluntary or involuntary. A group of property owners may request a city perform specific improvements and agree to a special assessment. On the other hand, a city may decide to install certain improvements and obligate the affected property owners to pay the fees. If the improvements benefit a large number of property owners, a city will often create a special improvement district. Assume a city would like to install a pressurized irrigation system in a large portion of the city. The city could create an irrigation improvement district. Any owners of property within a special improvement district would be obligated to pay fees associated with the improvements performed. The cost of improvements are usually spread out over a certain number of years and assessed to individual property owners according to their proportionate use of the improvement. Using our irrigation system example, big lots may be responsible for a larger portion of the total cost, since they will presumably use more water than small lots. As cities continue to require or prefer improvements, such as walking trails, open areas, parks, and other recreational facilities, special assessments and improvement districts will be used in an effort to fairly distribute the cost of projects in accordance with the beneficiaries. Lien priority. We've explored the various types and categories of liens, but we have not really discussed how liens affect a property or the title to the property. As we mentioned previously, liens represent a financial claim or an interest in a property. A lien does not prevent a property from being sold, but may affect the seller's rights when the property is sold. Consider a mortgage, for example. A mortgage does not prevent a property owner from selling their property. However, when the property owner sells the property, they will be required to pay off the mortgage loan. This seems logical that a seller would be required to pay off the mortgage loan. Let's explore why this is the case. Keep in mind that the mortgage is a claim to or a financial interest in the property. The buyer of property would most likely not want the property if the mortgage remains as claim or interest on the property. When the buyer negotiates with the seller regarding the purchase of the property, the buyer will include in the purchase contract an obligation for the seller to transfer title without any liens on the property. Property tax liens are typically an exemption to this provision in the purchase contract. Since the seller agrees to transfer the title to the property without any liens, they must satisfy outstanding liens on the property. In this case, the mortgage must be satisfied or paid off. The title or escrow company will usually coordinate the satisfaction of liens. We'll review the function of the escrow company in another course. Let's review a few examples. Sam's seller wishes to sell his property for $200,000. Sam owes $150,000 to his mortgage lender. When the property changes hands, Sam will be required to take $150,000 out of the $200,000 he is receiving to pay off the mortgage, and he will be left with $50,000. This example is oversimplified. We've ignored closing costs, real estate commissions, and other fees involved with selling or purchasing a property. We've also ignored the escrow agent's role in the transaction. Let's change the story a bit. Sam's seller still wishes to sell his property. Sam owes $250,000 to the mortgage lender, but the property is only worth $200,000. Is Sam able to sell the house? Sam has the right to sell the home, but most likely a buyer will not purchase the home unless they are able to obtain ownership without the mortgage loan. If Sam sells the property for $200,000, the proceeds from the sale will not be enough to satisfy the mortgage. The mortgage will remain recorded against the property. The buyer will most likely not agree to this arrangement. Unless Sam is able to make up the $50,000 shortfall, it is unlikely he will find a buyer willing to purchase the property without the mortgage being satisfied. Sam may want to attempt to negotiate a short sale with the lender. In a short sale, the lender agrees to accept less than the total amount due in satisfaction of the mortgage. In other words, Sam's lender would accept $200,000 in satisfaction of the $250,000 mortgage. This would allow Sam to transfer title to the buyer without the mortgage remaining on the title. You might ask why a lender would be willing to give up $50,000. If the property is really worth only $200,000, the lender is under-collateralized. In other words, they have a portion of the mortgage loan which is not secured by the value of the real estate. If the lender were to foreclose on the property, they would most likely not receive over $200,000 at the foreclosure sale. Some lenders feel it is easier and more cost-effective to negotiate a short sale rather than endure the sometimes tedious foreclosure process.